Hey guys, welcome back to Videosdeleslie. So in today's video here, we're gonna do things I wish I knew my freshman year. And I'm Leslie.
And I'm Karen.
So I'm gonna give you a little insight of my educational background. So I'm studying business management and marketing, and I'm going to my 4th year. So it's my last year. I really can't believe it. And yeah.
So I'm Karen, and I am studying accounting and information systems. I'm currently in my 3rd year.
Okay, so let's get this video started. And 4 main topics. The first one is time management. The second one is mental health. The third one is studying tips. And the last one is networking. It is time management. So in college, it is up to you. You have to have a good balance in managing your time. So what better more than a planner? A planner is going to be your best friend. So you can create one online, or you can buy yourself one in the store, and it's just going to set your schedule to balancing everything of how you want it. You have work, you have school, you have to work out, or if you have to do other things besides. I think that having a planner is just going to be the best of how you're going to balance your time.
I would say I definitely agree with Leslie on creating a planner or just having some sort of organizer for yourself, because for me it was very easy my first year to procrastinate a lot and to become very overwhelmed by all the work I had. So in my 2nd year I kind of started implementing a planner. Like, I wrote out when I had assignments due, I checked them off as I did them, and it just helped me a lot to get on top of all my stuff, because stuff can become really overwhelming very quickly, I would say. So I agree with getting a really good planner. And you might struggle to do it every day to keep track of it, but just kind of push yourself to keep doing it, because it's going to help you in the long run.
Yeah, it is definitely going to help you a lot, because in college you get to plan how you want your schedule. Like, if you want to take morning classes, if you want to take afternoon, it's up to you. If you're a morning person, if you're an afternoon person, well, you decide on how you want your schedule. And if you have other priorities, like you have to pay for school, then you have to work, then you'll set yourself of how you want to balance your time.
Yeah, I would just say that not even just for studying is a good planner, but like just like how she was saying earlier, like if you have activities you want to do outside of school, then you kind of want to be able to plan that too. And for work as well, you got to be able to find a good balance of that, just so you have time to do everything. And having a planner just makes it easier.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the second topic, studying tips. So for me, like, honestly, all college, I've struggled to studying and really implement a study schedule, just because in high school, like, I didn't study at all. I was not used to, like, also coming to college, you just have to implement a studying schedule, just because exams are worth a lot and your grade depends on it. So some studying tips that I will give: create a study schedule. Yes, I know how boring it could be to study in, but I think you need to think that your grade depends on it, so you need to be motivated. Another thing I would say, romanticize studying. Not recently, but like last year I did a video of romanticized studying. So go to a coffee shop, go to somewhere quiet, or somewhere that, I don't know, just you feel comfortable like studying.
You can set up a study schedule for yourself. That way you have a set time where you know you have to dedicate it to studying. That way you don't have to feel like, oh man, I should study today, or oh, I don't want to, I shouldn't, because you know you have that time to study. Like, that is your allocated time to study, and you have to do it. Like, it's just kind of push yourself to make that schedule. It probably makes things a lot easier too, just to already have that.
Oh, I think I know now. So by creating a study schedule, I mean that in the first day, as soon as you get your syllabus, in the first day of class, like, know when your exams are going to be, and don't study last minute, like the last week, or as soon as classes start, you should at least be looking over the book or looking over the presentation. And that's just the first step on creating a studying schedule, just knowing when your exams are going to be. And then for conceptual, like, exams, first, like, start reading, and then second of all, revise your notes every single day. And then the third one is test yourself. You can create a Quizlet. And then it's just different for like math exams. I would say taking good notes and then revising your notes, and then at the end just testing yourself, I don't know, creating problems, or maybe if the professor has a review. I feel like that's a good way to study.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like making a good study schedule for yourself just so you stay on top of it, knowing when your stuff is due, knowing when your exams are going to be. That way you can allocate a good studying time beforehand. Because, you know, like she said earlier, I didn't study in high school. It wasn't something I really did. I felt like I didn't need to. So, you know, when I got to college, it was like I didn't know a lot of the stuff, and you really do need to study because you got to push yourself to get ahead. And it gets tough if you don't study. You definitely got to do it. Don't procrastinate, I would say. And one of the other things is also, like, you know, make friends within your classes, like, if you can. That way y'all can study together. Because for me, at least, that's, like, what really helps me a lot, too, is creating study dates with some of my friends that I've made in my classes. It really helps me get on top of it. Because something they might be really good at in that class, I might be really bad. So they can teach me and I can teach them. And I think that really helps. And also, how she was saying, romanticize studying. Like, find a comfortable spot. Find something that'll make you feel like, oh, I want to study. Like, look, everyone's studying. I should do it, too. For me, I can't be at home. I can't be comfortable, like, in my bed studying. It just doesn't work for me because I'll fall asleep or I'll be on my phone. So I have to be, like, at a desk, or I like studying at the library because it's a good environment for me to just study in, I would say.
I feel like that's so true. Adding to that, distractions is just a big thing for me. When I do try to implement myself into studying, I get distracted on my phone. Or another thing is, like, studying with people. I feel like sometimes for me it's really good studying with people, but sometimes I would get distracted and I start talking with them and just laughing and stuff. So it's honestly up to you what works best for you. And yeah, I think that's
it's
good.
definitely finding a balance. Like, find what works to you, like, for you, because what might work for me might not work for you, doesn't work for her, or what works for her might not work for me. You know, just try several different things. Like, you know, your freshman year, you kind of have a little bit more time to really understand that about yourself, to really get to know yourself. So just know what works for you and kind of stick with it, I would say.
And understand, like, how for every classes, the exam, the format is just going to be different. So I feel like your freshman year, you're going from that transition from high school to college is just different, the exam, the format. So I feel like you shouldn't be too hard on yourself, just being like, oh no, like, I was so good in high school, all A's, and then I'm coming here and I'm failing, like, my first exam in college. Like, no, it's just like you're just not used to of how it is, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely something to get used to because, you know, some classes have it to where your grades are literally just 4 exams. So you really have to study really good or else you're going to fail. Like, some of my first exams that I took, I kind of failed them and I was like, well, why is this happening? Like, I was doing really good in high school. What happened here? And I just kind of ended up studying it a little bit more. Don't be afraid to talk to your professors. Like, ask them, hey, what do you think I should study on? Or what's going to be covered on this test? Look at their study guide. You know, unfortunately, not every professor has a good study guide or is going to give you a study guide. But, you know, don't be afraid to just ask them, like, if you need any help, because ultimately that's their job. They're going to help you out. They have a lot of tutoring. Like, look at the resources your college has for you. For sure, that's going to be one of the best things you can do for yourself. Just know what resources you have at your campus.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, go to office hours. That's where you could talk to your professor and be like, oh, I'm not really understanding this, and then they could just explain it, talk, or give you a review session. Another thing I have to add is definitely don't procrastinate studying. Like, don't do last minute studying. It's just not it.
It's not.
Yeah, no.
It might work for you. Maybe you think it does, but I've tried it. Cram studying just doesn't work for me. I have to space myself out. Like, I think you should study, and then, yeah, before the test, you can do, like, a quick study of everything you have studied before. Like, gather all your notes, all your information, look over it one last time, but just doing it all in one day, it's not going to be good. You're not going to be able to understand the information. You'll just kind of memorize it, but you won't understand it.
Yeah. Mental health. So this is something that is definitely, you know, it's the top priority of us all. It's important to care for your mental health in college, and it's easy to be burnout because, like I said, coming from that transition from high school to college, like, it just could be overwhelming. Like, you're just not used to, like, so many things that college just throws at you. So it's easy to be, like, overwhelmed and burnout. But if you balance well your time, you manage well your time, and take the time to take breaks, then you should be fine. Find some time to do some hobbies, even like walking outside or even like hanging out with friends. I feel like it's just a way to like take off all those stress that you have.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Find some time for yourself, because school, especially during exam seasons, it can get very overwhelming very quickly, especially like you're in a new setting, you're in a new campus, you don't know a lot of people, you're not around everybody who you kind of grew up with when you're in high school. So it gets pretty hard, and it's pretty taxing on you. So definitely make time for yourself. Like, find a way to make time for just yourself. Like, even she said, just working out, if that's something that relaxes you. Work out, go on a walk, practice your hobbies. Make time to go out with your friends, because it's good to have at least a circle of friends with you. That way y'all can kind of talk to each other, and it's just good to kind of have that.
Yeah, some of the ways that I deal with the stress whenever we have like exams and stuff, like I love working out. I like go to the gym. I know it can be tiring, but I love doing that. Running outside, taking my dog for a walk. That's just a way for me to like just relieve myself from all the stress from college.
Yeah, and like for me, I like to go out with my friends whenever I can. Like, even if it's just to study, we try to go out together sometimes, or like we'll just go out to eat, or on my free time I like to play video games. I like to do a lot of different things, but I always try to find time for myself, because if it's just constant work, I'm gonna get overwhelmed, and it's just not gonna be a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, always prioritize your mental health, because we don't want to be depressed, we don't want to be sad.
Networking it's definitely important. I'm sure for other majors as well, but we're business students, so that's kind of very, very important for us. And I came into college, I was like, I'm not gonna get involved with school. I'm gonna get my degree, and I'm gonna graduate, and I'm gonna get a job, and that's it. But really looking at it, I talked to my teachers, I talked to my professors, some of my like mentors that we have, and they'll really kind of emphasize how important networking is, because knowing the right people can help you get a job. Knowing the right people can help you get that internship, and it's very useful. Just networking with other students, making those friends, especially in that first year, because yeah, it's really tough to put yourself out there, especially like me. I'm an introvert. I hate putting myself out there. I hate talking to new people. I hate meeting new people, but you really just have to step outside of your comfort zone, because meeting those new people, meeting those new classmates, it's really going to help you. You can ask them, what are some good classes I should take from this major? What are some, good professors? What aren't some good professors? And, you ask your professors, hey, do you have any opportunities for me, internship opportunities? Or it's good to network yourself out there. That way you kind of get a idea of all the opportunities you have, because if you don't network, if you don't really talk to people, you kind of don't realize what opportunities you have.
You close yourself into just just being surrounded with the same people, the same friends. But if you open yourself to more, then you just get to know. I feel like the professors that I've had, they'd always tell me like how networking is just very essential, and it just gets yourself out there, the door and the foot, something like that they said. And yeah, networking is just really essential, and starting from the first year is even more better. Like, you're just getting yourself ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely better like as a freshman, because I think as a freshman, most universities, at least our university, they definitely have so much like things for freshmen, like orientation, meet the majors, all these like fairs and everything. It's just a good way to really get yourself introduced to your campus. I feel like as freshmen they have really good resources. It might depend on different schools, but it'll be easier if you put yourself out there your first year than to do it like your last year, or like 2 years in, 3 years in. It's a lot easier to just kind of get it out of the way that first year.
And well, if you might not find a way of like, oh, how do I start like a conversation or something, I feel like even just something simple could honestly help. Just be like, oh, hi, like this is my name, or like just introducing yourself. They say it's called the elevator speech, something like that, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything crazy, like especially with other students, just as simple as like talking to the person next to you, who's sitting down next to you. Hey, what's your name? I'm doing this and this, like we should set up a study date or something. Or hey, like nice to meet you, what other classes do you take? Just simple conversation. And with your professors too, like it's easier to network with them, because they're your professors, they're going to be teaching you for the rest of the semester. So you know, you can always talk to them. Their door's usually always open, depending on the professor, of course, but definitely take advantage of that.
It's just like, you know, finding yourself a mentor is just really good at the same time, because you get to know like some inside of like career or some interests. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but
Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean. Like, you know, with us, we're pretty lucky to have some mentors that we can talk to who they can introduce us to, you know, new internships, or, you know, they've been kind of in the advising field, so they can give us advice about school. They can tell us, oh, you guys should do this and this, or we have people you can talk to about these jobs, about what you're interested in. It's just a good way to like get to know new things.
Classes. So registering for classes can be very hectic, but if you plan ahead and then you also use your resources like Rate My Professor, you're gonna have an idea, oh, this professor I should choose instead of this professor, and yeah, that just works perfectly fine also with your schedule.
I would, you know, your first year is definitely a learning experience, you know, having to register for these classes on your own. Talk to your advisor, because you're going to be given an advisor your first year. I do hear nightmare stories of sometimes people are like, oh, my advisor, they didn't even help me, they didn't give me classes that I need. But just try to talk to them, because more often than not, they will recommend this is what you should take your first year. A lot of your first year is just, you know, your introductory classes. But yeah, like she was saying, look at Rate My Professor. Sometimes you can take it with a grain of salt. Unfortunately, sometimes you really don't have any other choice. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you know, if you start talking to your friends, if you make friends in classes in your college that you're going to, you can ask them like, hey, do you recommend this professor? Or, you know, what don't you recommend about this professor? So
yeah. And honestly, even if you do check Rate My Professor and all of the reviews are really bad, like I feel like at the end you just really need to put yourself out there and go to the office hours, go to tutoring, use all your resources, and you should be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I will say, like, unfortunately, sometimes you're gonna go into a class and the professor maybe isn't the greatest. Like, it's bound to happen maybe once or twice in your whole university like career, but you know, you gotta understand sometimes there's gonna be times where you gotta kind of teach yourself the subject matter. Look at your textbook, you know. It does happen, but just kind of focus, teach yourself, look at the textbook, ask for as much help as you can. That's it. And register for your classes as soon as you can too. I'd say know when your registration date is, because those classes fill up very fast.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
fast.
You don't want to have a class that like with a bad professor or with a bad time, so really start early.
Yeah, it definitely makes making your schedule a lot easier. Knowing what classes you're gonna take, and know what professors you want to take beforehand. Most times, like the course catalogs, they'll give you the option to look at the professors beforehand and look at the classes. So kind of plan out your schedule, add it to your cart, and as soon as your registration date drops, sign up for those classes as fast as you can.
Okay, so I also made an Instagram poll, and I have some friends that are also students, and they wanted to give things they wish they knew before starting their freshman year. So one of them says, don't be hard on yourself to accomplish everything your first year. You still have 3 more. Learn things by yourself. If you don't understand the professor, do take 2,000 classes faster. So this is like level 2 classes. They're just saying that level 2 classes, you can take them faster. You can take them at community college, or if you know, just taking them in the university. And there's a lot, but beginning ahead, so you procrastinate less and you harder to fall behind.
Yeah, I would say, I guess on that, they're like kind of talking about like you know, what we kind of touched up on earlier, which is create a schedule for yourself, get good time management, because when you start studying ahead of time, you're not going to fall back. You're not going to worry, oh, I can't get this assignment done because I didn't start it. Like, it is very difficult not to procrastinate, if that makes sense. Like, I tend to procrastinate a lot. I've definitely gotten better at it, but start as early as you can with everything that you can, because it just makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, definitely. This is something of me. Actually, it bothers me to even leave things behind, like assignments. Like, I actually want to start them. And the reason that it motivates me is just because, like, I like having free time, and just putting it aside is just something that I'm not going to have free time. And then another student says, Joining clubs and groups motivates you a lot more than you think, and it will benefit you.
Yeah, I touched up on that earlier too. It's like just putting yourself out there more, joining clubs, even if you kind of don't want to. It's going to help you put yourself out there more. Like, I'm in, I think, like, technically 2 clubs in my school. I want to join some more, some that are focused on my major for accounting, just because I'm going to meet more students like me. It's a good way to expand my friend group. It's a good way to network. And it's just going to help you a lot. It's going to motivate you. You know, you have a lot of people working around you who are working towards that same goal. You know, so it kind of helps you kind of push forward and strive forward in what you want to do in your degree.
Yeah, that is definitely good. Joining more clubs and things that relate to what you want to do in your future, like, you're definitely just gonna feel more motivated being surrounded with those type of people.
Yeah, and I would say, like, you know, it depends on your university, of course, but, you know, our university has clubs for, like, everything, you know. You can join, like, for us, there's, like, an Hispanic club that we could join, you know, a club for Latinos, a club for women in business, which we're actually both in. You know, there's just so much you can do. Really, there's, like, you know, there's a lot of everything in universities.
There's even, like, a cat club. If you
cat club.
If you like cats, then you can just join, and they help guys, but it's questions that a freshman asks. He's like, how does financial aid work?
I would say that definitely financial aid kind of depends on a lot of different things. It can be different from university to university, from student to student. You know, like, in my experience, I did my FAFSA, I filled it out, but I wasn't getting any financial aid from FAFSA. I wasn't actually getting any loans, really. Everything was kind of dependent on my university. And, you know, you do have to fill out your FAFSA. Sometimes, if you can't fill out a FAFSA, states have one. Like, for us, Texas, it's the TAFSA, something similar. You have to fill that out so your school knows what financial aid they can give you. It's very important to look at. You know, but look at scholarships that your school has, because schools offer so many different scholarships. You can get scholarships for a lot of different things.
There's the scholarships, like, for example, like we said, joining organizations, being part of an organization. You can also get a scholarship. We're part of an organization called Rice Academy. We got a scholarship for the semester, and we even got a scholarship for the study abroad that we did. So
And definitely don't be afraid to ask questions to, like, your financial aid office at your school and your financial aid officers, because at the end of the day, you know, that could be potentially thousands of dollars you're paying in school. So, you know, whatever you can do to kind of navigate through that, don't be afraid to ask those questions. Go to the office. Like, I was definitely bombarding my financial office with questions, like, every day. I was calling them constantly. Maybe it was annoying, but, you know, it's thousands of dollars.
What supplies should I buy for college? So in college is not the same as, you know, elementary or high school, where you have like scissors, you have
paper,
this,
you don't
like,
need all that.
no, you don't need all of that. So my first year, I just had my MacBook, and then I just got my backpack, and then I still writing notes in my notebook, so I did bought some notebooks.
Well, for me, yeah, I would say the same thing. A computer, you definitely need one. Just now, you know, Canvas or whatever your school uses. I think some schools use Blackboard. You need that to do most of your assignments. Most professors will now all have online assignments, almost all of them. So a computer, if you don't, a lot of schools have really good resources where you can rent out computers. They have computer, like, offices where you can go in there and use whatever your school has. I take notes on my iPad. I got it my freshman year, I think. It's very useful because, you know, I like writing on my iPad. Sometimes I do like doing notes, like that. You know, carry your backpack with you. Just depending on what your schedule looks like, just have some essentials with you too, you know. But you really don't need much. You don't need as much as you need in high school, for sure.
Definitely. Even just, honestly, just bringing your computer could just be all, you know.
I would say definitely, like, bring maybe, like, some paper, like some line paper, because you never know when a professor might be, depending on the class, right? But you never know when they're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna do a written assignment today. Or bring a pencil, and Scantrons, because you never want to not be out of that. Like, definitely. I remember I had to run across the building one time because I didn't have a Scantron, and I had to get one. But
I honestly forgot, like, in high school, like, the Scantrons are,
they're
like, they're free, you know, but
to
here you have to, like, pay.
You have to pay
You
for
have
them.
to pay for everything.
You have to pay, yeah, literally for everything. They shouldn't be that expensive, but always have those on you, because most professors, even now, at least I guess for our classes, I don't know about you, most of our tests will be in person, on paper, and on a Scantron. Sometimes they'll do it online and everything, but just always kind of have that. Always have like a pencil on you in case you have to do a written assignment in class, because you really never know. But other than that, you don't need anything too crazy.
Yeah, having Scantrons on hand, you just have to have them there. Also, I would say a calculator. If you are taking math classes, I bought a calculator just because I was taking.
Yeah, because most math classes, they will let you use a calculator during the exam. Not super high-tech ones. It's just kind of the scientific calculators. It's not like the TI-85 ones that you can use.
So guys, I hope you guys found this very helpful, this advice from our experiences. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.